Hey, what's up guys? Kyle here, RRHQ, and we're gonna be doing ceiling installation for today's project, and we're gonna be utilizing MetalWholesale's SpeedLap, okay? We've done this on soffit, but today we're gonna do it on the ceiling, and we're gonna take you through the install as well as some tips and tricks on how to make that all go smoothly. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to get our perimeter trimmed out so that we can put the panels on the ceiling, right? And we're gonna be opening up this, this is basically a J channel for soffit, but look at this, MetalWholesale. This is what I love about them. Lindsay, right here, you get to see her, you get to see her name, and she's the one that put this all together for us. So you know as a customer who did the actual work for you, and then you also know who to blame if there is an issue, which is, I guess, a good thing. It holds everybody accountable. All right, so we've got two different types of trims, and this is important because we're gonna be installing a metal panel from the wall to the outside header. So what we need to do is we're gonna take this, we call this a mini angle. It's basically 1.5 by 1.5, and you can see that it's painted on this side. This is gonna go right up here like so, okay? That is gonna allow us to put our panel right up against the wall without having to slide into the J channel. And that is because this J channel, you can see the end of it, looks like the letter J actually in reverse right now, the way you're looking at it. But this is gonna go along the outside like this. And that is so that when we install our panel, it can be nice and clean. If you've ever installed a soffit or a metal, this makes sense to you, but it is a special size. It is just big enough for the panel and no bigger. So we're gonna go around, we're gonna get these installed. Okay, take that bad boy. So when we put this up here, we're just gonna go ahead and tack it up with like a shingle nail or something. We've got a roofing nailer. Ooh. Okay, Greg, get that partial. There you go. I think we should run them all. You hold that. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay,
like
now go ahead.
Trim, like it's spacing it
the
out.
thickness of my trim with my soffit material.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Go ahead. Just go ahead and take her in and flush. I'm hitting a nail.
Oh, it's the half a nail that's in there.
You know, it can't just be easy.
Nope. If it was easy, it'd be cheesy. Maybe one
Okay.
end.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can go anymore.
Yes, you can. Don't be a lazy.
Just a little bit further. I mean, that will work.
You must be hitting.
I want to go like a smidge more, like a 16th.
I think you're there.
Oh, okay. Well, this will work.
It'll work.
It'll
Yep.
work. It'll work.
Here, before we go any further, piece of that. Check it.
Check it.
I'm a little bit worried about this. Okay.
You know what?
Not gonna worry anymore.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yep. All right, now we got to go out around the perimeter with our J channel, and you'll see why we have to do this. We can't just run J channel around the entire thing. Once we get this up, it'll make much more sense. Do you 45 this, Greg?
No, I have not been. Sometimes, I mean,
I'm gonna 45 it.
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay, that should go in there if I can line it up.
That better? Like it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll touch it.
All right, so now we have all of our perimeter trims done. Something else I wanted to say is with the SpeedLap product, you'll see our framing is every 2 foot on center. That's gonna be what you wanna, go as a maximum on your spacing. And we also did some pre-wiring up here because You can cut your can lights into the soffit. It's a really nice surface to do can lights. So whether that's in your soffits or your ceilings like we're doing here, if you're thinking about doing some lights, just put some pre-wiring up there so that you can do that as you go. So there we go. There is our SpeedLap ceiling. And the cool thing about this product is that we can use it in soffit application, ceiling application. It can be custom cut. So they cut this at the factory to whatever dimension you want. There is a little bit longer lead time when you're doing longer pieces, but instead of having to buy a 12-foot piece of your soffit, cut it down to your dimension, you get a lot of waste that way. Here, you're just paying for what you need. You get it custom cut, and then it saves you a ton of time on the job site, not only installing it because of the way it installs, but because you don't have to do any cutting or prepping as long as you do your measurements correct. So let's hope we got all of our measurements correct. We are now ready to get our first piece up. All right, because we're a little bit OCD here at RR Buildings, we are going to make a couple marks, and that is because we framed this porch. We know that it's really darn good and square, and 18 inches is what our first leading edge is going to be. So just to make sure that when we go into this, there's nothing weird going on, we're going to hit our first piece on a mark. So now we're ready to get our first piece up. Okay. Should be quite easy. In the J, slide it into the J.
That's why we did
No,
that.
no. Wait, what?
So that's why we did that.
Yes, but that's going to change when we get over there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, so there's my mark. See this?
There we go.
All right, now go ahead and hit one there.
Mm-hmm.
Get one here. And then I think what we need to do, because there's no J here, is we need to get a couple black screws here just to hold this first piece in, because from here on out, it's gonna lock here and then nail out here. Okay, so now that we have the first one up, anytime I'm doing a ceiling, especially a big ceiling, I like to consider the fact that there's a possibility that things can get off. And you don't want your metal to ever look like it's kind of going one way or the other. Now this should be good and it should lap really nice, but I always like to just play it safe, and I think it's a good idea, is we're gonna give ourselves a couple mark outs of the coverage of the piece so that we know where it should land. And if everything seems to be going perfect like you want, then it'll make us feel better that we're not gonna get off as we go down the wall, and we can always double check to these marks that the pieces are going right where they're supposed to. So first one in, now it's time to go to town. All right, buddy. In the J, up, lock in. Simple Simon. Good on my mark down here. Consistent on this mark here. Go ahead and grab me another one, buddy.
Let's go, dog.
Okay. Now what we do is, because we have this trim back here, this trim, remember I told you we can't do J around the whole perimeter. It's because it's hard to get into a piece of J and have another piece of J. You can, with larger panels, flex them in the middle and then get it to go in. But this is plenty good enough, because what we're gonna do, especially in this application, is gonna be putting a piece of trim right here. And the reason for this trim is that when somebody looks up in here, they don't look into this hole and see a white trim. Now, you can, if you look very closely, see a white trim up there, and it's kind of the way it is. You could spray paint that, but most people don't come into an area like this and turn around. They're always walking up, and this is really where we always focus on having it nice and black, or color matched, I should say. So my recommendation is, when you're installing this, just make sure you go from one end to the other and make sure that it's properly seated into that like male and female leg, and that it's a good positive connection. That's gonna help make sure that it stays running the way it should. So what I do is I'm just gonna go ahead and get it up into my J. Oh, Greg, we're gonna have to do a little special.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, because of that door.
Yep, all right, tip time. We've got this trim right here is sticking out with this head flashing a little bit too much. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go past it. So I'm gonna get it in the J, past that door. I'm gonna slide it down. Here we're stuck right there, okay. Now your side should be fine. This side, we just need to get it over top. There you go.
Hold
now,
on, we're
you're not in?
No.
You're not in back there, buddy. You're not in. I let Greg do this for one time. Just one time.
There we go.
There you go. I made it look easy, Greg, or what?
No, I think I was just catching something.
There you go. So that's kind of the trick when you can't necessarily get it in the J and take it straight up. You can work your way down from an end if you have something penetrating your wall like that and you can't just take it right up. You're just gonna give it a nice push and it'll engage right back. Easy peasy. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's just check it to the wall. We'll do that first, but then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the start of the miter and that point. I am 81 1/4, so we're 3/8 ahead on this point. I don't know if 3/8 is enough, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and try to tighten up this side to get it to just come ahead.
How about this miter? You want to check the miter?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah. Nah. No, 3/8 on this is, I think I can make up most of it, and then I think we're good. So as long as it doesn't visually look like we're off, which I couldn't see anything. I mean, no, when I stand here, it looks.
We look pretty square.
It looks, yeah,
well.
I haven't had any jagging going on. It looks really good. Let's keep going, okay? All right, now we've made it to where we're going to miter our ceiling. Listen, everybody has difference of opinions, but whenever we have an L-shaped or an oddly shaped porch structure, ceiling, whatever it is, I think it looks better to not continue to run these pieces past this and go all the way down there. You can do whatever you want, but what we're going to do is we've got this framing right here, you'll see, and that is to frame a miter in our ceiling so that we'll have these pieces, we'll have a nice trim line, and these pieces on this side will be going the perpendicular direction, making it come into a nice miter. So what I need to do is figure out where this distance is and where the measurement of from this hook to the corner, and then I will get my first miter cut, which we frame this, it should be 45 degrees. Obviously, if you don't know how to figure that up, that's a totally different video because you want to know what this is. But one thing Greg and I are going to do real quickly, Greg, is let's snap a line so we know exactly where our miter line is, because I will use it to ensure that my pieces are not getting off through my miter. Okay, so once we have that center line on our miter established, this is a trim that MetalWholesale does that you don't have to use. We will typically use like a double J channel, which is basically what you're seeing right here. But this would be black, and that's it. You install one on each side of your miter. They also have this 3-piece trim, which has a nice clean finish on it so that it looks like a 1-piece trim. Your SpeedLap is gonna go right here. This is gonna be more likely to be used on a soffit where you don't have any fascia, and you can put these trims up, do your soffit, and then you take this top cap and you're gonna slide it in and it's gonna cover everything really nice. Here, we can't do that because A, we have a wall on this corner and we have a header on that corner. So our miter, we can't install that and then slide in that top trim piece. So what we're going to do is we'll do a couple measurements, snap a line, and then we'll install that 3-piece trim all at once. And then that's just how we are gonna do it. But we will achieve that nice clean line that top cap gives us instead of having two J's coming together and then having a joint in the middle. What do you think? You think just a clean snip?
Probably.
Yeah. If anything, it'll hold it.
Tighten it up.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that was perfect. I think I could have done better. So now let's get our line snapped here for 4.5 inches. So 2 1/4 both ways. Let's snap a center line,
Center line,
and then we'll measure off. Yep. You got the chalk line?
I got my chalk line, yeah.
So first we're gonna get our center line, and then we'll measure. You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not the greatest. And then we're gonna measure off, we gotta go 2 1/4 because the total dimension of our 3-piece trim's 4.5. And we want to snap a line so that we know where to install one side of it. So we're gonna go 1 1/4, Greg, to the right, my right, your left. Go this way.
This way?
Yep, go that side.
2 1/4 that way?
Yep. No, 1 1/4. It's a total, what was it?
No, we want to be 2 1/4.
Thank you, yes. 2 1/4. Oh, that's close to the edge.
2 and...
That'd be 4, yeah. Tell me when you're good.
Good.
Yep, all right. So let's get a measurement. Try and get me somewhat tight out there in that corner. Tell me, what should I add about?
Well, this is going to be past your J, so I mean, I think if you cut it there, you'll have a little bit of room over here.
Okay, I'm just gonna go like 120.
Wait, are you going off of that end?
Yeah, why? I'm going the point. I'm going to the point.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll go from there. Oops. All right. So in theory, that should be really close, huh? Okay. Let's make sure it stays together. You got it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I feel like, there we go. That side needs to go, and there we go. It's still gonna be really tight, Greg.
I mean, I'm on my mark. How close are you to your mark?
No, I'm still off.
Yeah, you were the old tap speeds.
It's gonna mess it up. It's gonna mess it up. It's definitely gonna mess it up. It's like...
Hindsight, you know what we should have done?
What?
Just cut the face of that J back so that top piece tapers in.
It's cool.
We'll do in here.
Well, we're going to have to do a little bit of touch-up paint. All right.
Nice.
So now that we have the one side, all we're going to do is we're just going to snug this up where our nails are. And that's all we're going to do. So now this piece just looks like a nice one piece, but really it's 3 pieces. Okay, we got one more. All right. So now with the miter done, we can accurately measure where this is gonna come right to the miter. Let's go ahead and we're gonna go about 13 5/8. Let's take a little bit extra off.
Yeah, we want to be close to tight, but
Yeah, we don't want to be too tight.
yep. Is that gonna work? Yes. What are you doing?
Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got my first one, and I'm actually gonna take a little bit extra off. I tried it and it was a little bit snug, but it reminded me, whenever I'm doing miters, it is always easier to line up two pieces and make the next mark for where you're gonna be. That way you don't have to pull a tape measure out every time. And so when I get this piece done, I'll set another piece here and I can keep my line going. So it just makes it a little bit easier. This is really close, Greg, but I think I should be able to put it right. Yeah, it's really, there. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because I want to make sure that 45 is what it is to ensure that I am doing a decent job, or did a decent job in the build. Okay, so let me cut this off, Greg. Come on, buddy. Let's see it. I wonder if the nibblers would work on this. It'd be too slow.
I wouldn't be able to get this
Yeah.
leg here, unfortunately.
All right. We'll leave that for now. Let's go ahead and put this piece up. It requires 2 people because we got to bend it in double J. So that's what you would normally have to do if you were doing J on both sides. You'd have to have 2 people and bend it in. So, all right, Greg, go ahead. All right, ready?
Yep.
So totally doable, just not as quick as one person. All right, I like that. Looking really good. Let me get it nailed. I'm catching somewhere. There we go. Like it? You're your way all the way?
Yeah, we are my way all the way.
Here you go. All right, let me go grab that next piece. If it all goes in, I'm just gonna write down the measurement. Make sure we're lined up. Big thing is, if I'm super tight, I know I gotta take a little bit off this line when I go to cut it, and if I'm loose, I can go ahead and add a little bit, but this is continuing my 45 for my miter. And now, Greg, I think I can do this myself because I don't have to go in
Yep.
to a double J.
You are correct.
I should, in theory, be able to just slide it right in. Oh, it's gonna be a little tight right here. Let's try this. Let's go in here. No, I'm not gonna be able to do that. It's a little bit snug right there at that tip. So, Greg, go ahead. I'm not gonna fight it. Pull that down just a little bit.
Yep. Well, that would have been better.
Yeah.
Are you still?
I don't think so. I think
you're pushing my end when you're doing that, though.
well, I think I'm good, dude. I think I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, break it. It'll snap. One more time, after this. Oh, there we go.
Man,
Nice work. On me.
if not.
Am I catching on there? Okay, good, good. Oh, it's a beaut. Okay. All right, so I got my last piece. I don't want to have to put a fastener in this. So what I'm going to do is take, I've just got some Sashco Big Stretch, and I'm just going to fill this up right here where this groove is. And then I'm also just going to give myself a little dab here. And hopefully this will always work. Worst case, if this ever starts rattling for some reason, I can probably put a screw right here. But the goal is for this to be a nice seamless application. So we're going to go for the gold, shoot for the moon, land in the stars type thing, you know? I don't know how I'm getting this in there though. Okay. Let's get that in there. That in there. There. See? So all that sealant, it just kind of squeezed into that joint, and that's just gonna stay there forever. So that is the easy part. We made it down this long line, we made it into this miter. Now what we have to do is we have to bring this side into this miter, and we need to do it so that when our pieces come together, they're lined up. We don't have some weird thing going on. There's nothing worse. And I'm gonna do my best. So we're gonna figure out where we have to come into this miter with a piece. In theory, because this was dimensionally built in 8-foot increments, the porch, it should be the same piece that goes in here if we just start with a full out there. But because we came 32 feet, there could always be a little bit of growth or shrinkage. So we're just gonna double check things, and then we'll work from our miter out with measurements, and then we'll come back in. We'll see. It's always touch and go on miters. You gotta spend time and make sure they're perfect though. So remember, we went into our miter with a 13 5/8, which we actually cut to 13 and like a half. And so we're gonna cut a piece that is the exact same, and we're gonna see how it goes in at 13 and a half, and then we'll use this to mark back. Greg, what I do wanna do though is cut one more past this so we can kind of put them together and make sure the miter is perfect. Okay. And the goal is that to be tight and our miters to be lined up. I would say it needs to maybe go over just a scotch, but it's really, really, I mean, you're gonna have to study that to see if it's off. So don't move it, don't move it. What I'm gonna do is get my ladder here. Okay.
Well, we're trying to get that leg right.
I'm gonna get this leg where this piece needs to end, okay? So this is all I care about. Don't let this one go. So take your right hand and just hold this. Hold this, the whole thing. I don't want it to slide on me, like it's gonna rotate. Yep, just hold that. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking this. Okay, now go ahead and take this guy out.
Here.
Well, you can make that mark, but I need the mark over here on the wall.
Okay, make that there.
Yep. Now take those out. This is very, you know, to get us fairly close. All right, so that mark basically is where I want my last full to go, right here. So what we'll do, Greg, is we'll measure this first. Well, that don't really matter a ton, I guess, but we're just gonna come back 15 and 7/8. So go ahead and hold me there. You go ahead and mark your first 15 and 7/8. Can you do that? I'm gonna mark 31 3/4, 5/8, and half. Okay. It won't be the same because we're only doing one 8-foot bay from the outside, but down there we did the 8-foot bay, but then we followed it up with, well, it should be the same-ish, right?
I mean, well, it's not going to be the same because they're not 16. That's the
point.
That is the
We're losing an 1/8 on every one, so that's going to get pushed back further. So this one here, based on what I'm seeing, is I want like 15 and 5/8. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to mark 15 and 5/8, and then we'll work out our 15 and 7/8 from there, which should keep us right where we want to be. So 15 and 5/8. We got 31 3/4, and this doesn't have to be. We don't have to be perfect on these marks. It's to get us as close as possible so that when we get into the miter, we don't have to, worry about it being super off, and it should stay really consistent. Okay, so 63.5, that's gonna get me there. I'm gonna do one more. In fact, I'm just gonna do a couple more because that's me, I'm crazy.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Because that's what you would do to me.
Oh, fair. All right, now it's never ideal to start or end with soffit or ceiling that has this, because when this goes up into the J trim, there's nothing super tight. But what you do is we're gonna take this piece, and I'll show you our little trick to make sure that you don't hear wind flopping this little piece of metal that's gonna be in the trim. So you're just gonna take your scrap piece whenever you cut your soffit like that, and you're gonna shove it into your J, and this is gonna create something solid up in there for your metal to be against so it doesn't flap around. There. That'll work. Okay, so now we're ready for our first piece, and we just got to make sure that our pieces are hitting the marks that we put on the wall and the beam so that when we get into our miter, we have a good chance of getting that miter to line up really nicely. Greg, I might need your help.
Okay.
We'll see, because I got to get into this trim and get, let's see, okay. We'll see. Catching something right there. Okay. So, see, so now there's something solid up here, and there's still some movement, but it can't flop around. So I've got my mark. We're gonna make sure we're right there on that mark. Make sure I'm on my mark out here. There we go. Oh, my gloves are getting dirty.
The good thing about this product is that you can power wash it and clean it off later if it's dirty.
That's a good point, dude. It's a good thing to recognize. Okay, so I'm on my mark. That's great. That's a good point, Greg. I totally forgot about the way that you could do that to this product. All right, there's my mark. The worst is when you plan this all out, you try to hit all your marks, and you get there and it's still off because your marks are off.
Haven't done that before.
Yeah. Okay, we made it to our mark. We're on our mark. That is a good thing. So now we already know our dimension because we already tested it. 13.5. We'll put our miter and work our way to the end.
Okay, you ready?
No. Okay, so, ready?
Yep.
Okay.
More. I mean, obviously more.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
What are we catching? Middle?
Yep.
Booyah to the grandma.
Love it.
All right. I might have you.
Yeah, you want that one first.
Yeah, I know. It is.
catching the middle? Is that what you're getting?
I don't know if I'm catching or if it's right here on this. There we go. There.
Nice.
How's our miters looking? Yeah, I mean, that's fine, dude.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good, pretty good. I mean, I respect it from this angle.
Oh, yeah. Just has to look decent, you know?
We're only going for subpar.
We want people to drive by up at the road 200 yards away and say, that miter, that looks good. Come on, Kyle. Oh, that's why. I wasn't in all the way. There we go. All good, Greg?
Cool.
Miter's looking pretty decent.
That's what I like to hear.
We're on a roll. Down to the wire. I don't know here, Greg. Well, I'm getting smaller here, and I don't know why I'm having. Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay. Here you go. See if we can get this in here. Let's see. All right, there we go. We just finished the install of this ceiling. We did electrical this morning up in the ceiling. We did some miscellaneous framing. We trimmed it, we installed it, and it is just now lunchtime. So that goes to show really, you know, the name SpeedLap, it's true. It's a fast install product. The way that it just kind of goes in and slides over does make it a lot easier. It always engages nice so you can really, you know, just stay right on your mark. So great product, highly recommend for this type of application. So another thing about the MetalWholesale SpeedLap is we use this solid on the porch because we're not worried about ventilation, but you can get it perforated as well. That's what we used on this building in our eaves so that we could get proper airflow in our attic space. Let me know down below, guys, what you think of this product as a ceiling. I think it looks nice and clean. The next thing I'm gonna do is find all my ceiling light locations, cut them out, so I can get my can lights up there. I think that's gonna really add a lot of, you know, good quality touch to this at nighttime. Oh, and if you guys did pay attention, you guys are always asking about tool belts. I got a new belt on today. This is the Perkins Builder belt. Eric Perkins, a buddy of mine, he sent over one and I'm giving one a try. And he also gave me a code for you guys with Black Friday and Christmas coming up. This is already a well-priced, value-built set of bags. There's a lot of features here, very good quality. Normally $200, but if you look down in the description below, I got a code for you guys where you can save 50 bucks right now. That's 25% off. Now is the time to grab one if you've been on the fence. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch the Builder Brothers over there, so maybe you've already seen them. I'm just telling you, it's a nice belt. I'm liking it so far. I'm gonna keep wearing it for a while, so check that out down below. But yeah, I'm happy. Hope this was interesting for you guys. Hope you learned something. And remember, MetalWholesale, you can get this cut to any dimension. So whatever your soffit needs are, your ceiling needs are, or horizontal siding applications, you can do that and they will custom cut those for you and deliver them. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're gonna clean this up. This was our morning project and we'll catch you guys on the next video.